it's Gabby from EDUCO, and today we'll be looking at large number problem solving. Our main learning goals for today's video are creating and solving expressions from word problems, estimating products and rounding, and finally using place value charts to help us determine products. Our first question of today's video states that Melissa is reading Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. She wants to know how many words she will be reading. She counts 42 lines per page and determines that the average line has 12 words. Her copy of the novel is 230 pages long. What expression would Melissa use to estimate the number of words in the novel? So firstly, when solving a question like this, my preferred method is to draw a picture to help me visualize what's happening. So I know that in Melissa's copy, she says that there is around 42 lines. So I know that there are going to be 42 lines on each page. Now, she also says that on each line, there are around 12 words. And finally, she told us that in her copy, she has 230 pages. Now, our question is asking us for an expression that can help us estimate the total number of words. Now, we know that on each line there's around 12 words, and we know that each page has 42 lines, and we know that in the book there are a total of 230 pages. So in order to figure out how many words there are in the novel, we need to multiply all of these values together. So we can start with 42 lines, and we know that on each line there are 12 words. And finally, we know that there are 230 pages in the whole book. Now, our second question is asking us to solve this expression. How many words are there in the novel? Now, this is a big calculation, so I will turn to a calculator to help me with this one, and I encourage you to do the same. So to solve this expression, I multiply 42 times 12 times 230, and my calculator tells me that the answer is 115,920. Or I can also write it like this: 920 words. Now, like I always say, it's always important to answer any word problem question with a full sentence. So we can say, there are 115,920 words in Melissa's novel. And that is our first question all complete. Our next question is asking us to estimate the product of 247 times 638 by rounding to the nearest hundred. So that's the important part of this question, is that we have to round both 247 and 638 to the nearest hundred. So looking at our number, when I read 247, we know that the 2 is in the hundreds place. Same thing for 638. So when I round my numbers, I want to round to the hundreds place. So when I look at this number and I want to round, we know that the number 4 is less than 5, so we have to round 247 down to 200 because 4 is less than 5. Now, if I look at 638, I'm going to look at my 3. We know that we also have to round down to 600 because 3 is less than 5. Anything bigger than 5, we're always going to round up, and anything less than 5, we want to round down. Now our estimation is going to become a lot easier. So now instead of having these really big, complicated numbers, now we're left with 200 times 600. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well, those are still some pretty big numbers, but I have a trick that can help you. So in order to solve this, I'm going to look at my first 2 digits only. 2 times 6. That's an easy one. I know that 2 times 6 is 12. Now all I have to do is add my number of zeros that are in my 2 numbers here. So 200 has 2 zeros, 600 also has 2 zeros, so I'm going to add 4 zeros, and I know that our number is approximately going to be 120,000. Our last question is asking us to use the place value chart below to describe how we would determine the product of 645 times 1,000. So I have started us off by putting 645 into our place value chart. Now we know that anytime we multiply a number by 1,000, it's actually the same as moving each of our numbers 3 places to the left. So when writing out my answer, I know that each number will be shifted 3 columns to the left. How do I know it's 3 places though? Well, first of all, if I look at my number, 1,000, it has how many zeros? 3. So that is a trick to help us know how many places we have to move our number and how many zeros we have to add to the end of our number. So when using my place value chart, I'm going to start by moving each one of my numbers 3 places to the left. So my 6 is going to move 3 places, and it's going to end up in the hundreds place in my thousands column. Next, I'm going to move my 4, 1, 2, 3 places to the left. That's going to end up right here in the thousands column. And finally, I'm going to move my 5, 1, 2, 3 places to the left, and that's going to end up in the ones. Now, when I go to write my final answer, I know I have a 6 in the hundreds column, a 4 in the tens column, and a 5 in the ones column, and now I can add 3 zeros to the end of my number. And this follows the same trick we did last time. So 645 times 1,000 is always going to give you your original number, 645, plus 3 zeros, or in this case, 645,000. Great job, everybody. You've completed large number problem solving. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.